Chapter 13. In my memory, Dad had just gotten home from work and came to my room, where one of my friends, Carla, and I were vegging after a long day of school. My room's so big it has an antechamber of sorts that's got a leather couch, chair, and widescreen TV above one of those fake electric fireplaces. I was sprawled out on the couch, Carla sitting on the chair. "Hey, honey, how's it going?" Dad asked as he entered the antechamber, that infamous goofy smile framing his chubby face. Ugh, you've got to be kidding me, Dad. Not in front of Carla. He was also huffing a little, his cheeks tinted pink. I muted the TV. Out of breath from climbing the old stairs there, Dad? What? He asked. No, of course not. Right. Hey there, Carla. She smiled at him, the light glinting off her new braces. She hated them with a boiling passion, but everyone seemed to think they were actually kind of cute, including boys, which I have to admit made me kind of jealous. A part of me has always wondered if she knew that all along and just claimed she detested her braces so much. Hi, Mr. Silverman. She straightened up slightly in her chair as she batted her eyelashes at him. She was always doing weird stuff like that around him. It made me kind of nauseous. My gaze roved over one of his notorious Hawaiian shirts he was wearing. This one green and light blue with an actual parrot printed on it right over his little potbelly. Dad, ew. No annoying shirts allowed in my room. He gestured at it. What's so annoying about a toucan? If I can like toucans, then I'm pretty sure you can too. Which, when you think about it, means that not just one person can like toucans, but two can. Get it? Toucan? Like toucan. He threw back his head and let out a loud laugh that severely jiggled his potbelly. Carla laughed too, what sounded a little too girlishly even for her, which is actually saying a lot. That's not all, Mr. Silverman, she said, eyeing me. I'm betting 3 can like toucans too. Now they were both laughing hardcore. It made me seriously want to vomit. Dad, was there actually a reason you came into my room? Because I highly doubt sharing a super lame parrot joke was it. I thought it was funny, Carla said. Gee, thanks, Carla. And that was when I saw the comic book clutched in Dad's hand. My gut clenched. Oh no. Dad, please. I told you my room is a no-lame comic book zone. That's 2 strikes today already. 1 more and you're out. But he waved his hand through the air as though wiping away my comment. Honey, I really think you'd like this one. I couldn't stop thinking of you ever since Dave and I came up with the idea, and now it's finally finished, fresh off the press. Dave was one of Dad's loserish co-workers over at his stupid comic book company, Funny Comics. And if you happen to think spelling comics as comics, C-O-M-I-X, is even remotely clever or humorous, then I'm sorry to say you're just as loserish as they are. Dad held up the book with both hands so I could see the cover. A young girl who looked an awful lot like me, with crud-colored eyes and sandy-colored pigtails, was plastered to it. She was wearing a pair of blue suspenders and chemistry goggles, both way too big for her, and held 2 beakers with brightly colored fluids in each hand, one green, one purple. The title, The Incredibly Hilarious Adventures of Super Chemical Girl, curled across the top in fancy script. Overall, as much as I hated to admit it, I thought it was kind of cool looking. I mean, seeing someone who looked exactly like me on the cover of a book, and the fact it was clearly a very original superhero. My excitement must have shown because Dad cried as he practically bobbed from one foot to the other. Aha! See? I knew you'd like it. Oh God. Dad. And it gets even better, you see. This awesome little girl fights crime using chemistry, so you know she's super smart. Instead of using a weapon like a sword or a utility belt or something, she's constantly mixing chemicals that create certain reactions to stall and defeat her foes. Plus, she's pretty funny, if I don't say so myself. Reminds me a lot of you. You've got to give it a read, honey. It's the very first volume, and I'm personally hoping we make a ton more. He placed the book on the couch beside my sprawled position, and I gave him the most disgusted look I could muster. Yeah, Dad, because I'm constantly mixing chemicals to stall and defeat my foes. You know what I mean, he says. It looks fun, Mr. Silverman, Carla said. What a traitor. Thanks, Carla. Just give it a quick read whenever you get the chance, honey, he says to me. You too, Carla, if you'd like. I mean, it's fun, light. I really think you'd like it. I rolled my eyes despite the fact that I did think it was sort of cool. Okay, sure, Dad. Great, thanks, hon. See you at dinner. You're welcome to join us too, Carla, if you'd like. He winked at her, but not in a creepy way. "Thanks, Mr. Silverman," she said as she flipped her long blonde hair. Really, Carla? Then he finally ducked out of the room, closing the antechamber door behind him. As soon as he did, I popped to my feet and plopped the book into the trash can by the electric fireplace. "What?" Carla asked. "You're not going to read it?" "Let's put it this way. If this was a real fireplace, I'd be putting it up on high and placing it in that." "Oh, that is harsh, Sandy." Something about her slightly red eyes and slack expression made it seem like she actually felt kind of sad for Dad. Whatever. Though I guess she had a good reason, because a couple of days later he came to my room again right after work, again slightly out of breath with rosy cheeks. He also sported yet another loud, brightly colored Hawaiian shirt. Seriously, did he think Florida was right off the coast of Hawaii or something? This time it was just me lounging in front of the TV, detoxing from another long, grueling day of school. "Hey, honey, did you get a chance to read Super Chemical Girl yet?" "Oh yeah, it was great," I lied. "Thanks for letting me read it." Don't get me wrong, I felt bad lying to Dad, but he should know better by now than to shove comic books of all things down my throat. An exceptionally huge, dorky smile consumed his face, the biggest I'd ever seen on him. "That is absolutely fantastic, honey. I'm so glad you like it. See, didn't I tell you that you would?" "Yep, you sure did." "Now, do you mind giving it back to me? That one's actually part of the collection we keep at the office, you know, so visitors can check it out and even read some of it if they want. Or if Dave or I just want to admire the succulent fruits of our own hard labor from time to time." He grinned that goofy, boyish grin of his as he winked at me. I glanced at the garbage can by the fireplace. Crud, the cleaning company had been here yesterday. There is no way the comic book was still in the trash. Sorry, Dad, I, don't have it anymore. I lost it by accident. I'm so sorry." He waved his plump hand through the air as though wiping away my apology. "Oh, that's all right, sweetie. We'll just print another one. No skin off old Funny Comics' bones. Anyway, what was your favorite part of the story, if you don't mind me asking?" Crud. What could I say? I don't know, actually. There were just so many." His boyish grin grew even bigger. "Oh, come on, honey. I'm sure there's at least one scene or thing that really popped out to you. Please tell me. Every once in a while you can indulge your dear old father at least a little, you know." "Oh, yeah, sure. My thoughts raced. I racked my brain as hard as I could, trying to think of something. Anything. Any way to somehow answer or avoid this horrible question. But I couldn't think of a single thing. I really can't, Dad. I'm sorry." The light faded from his eyes as the grin slid totally off his face. "Oh, I see. No worries, honey." And he left the room. Not surprisingly, he never asked me to read another of his company's comic books ever again. Now, back in Sarah Kahn's office, tears start to blur my vision again. I should have read it, I say. I should have read Dad's stupid company's stupid comic book. Pete doesn't answer. He's asleep, still slumped in Dr. Kahn's chair. And to think of the very last memory I have of Dad. Not just because now I'll never have any more, but because of how I made fun of him for having his fly open when he really didn't. How his smile had slid off his face then, just like it did when he realized I'd never read his Super Chemical Girl comic book. He hadn't deserved that. He hadn't deserved any of it. And now, I'll never get to make up for it. Never get to tell him how much I really, truly love and appreciate him. The tears come again, but I'm barely aware of them because the next thing I know, my eyes roll open. Once the fuzziness clears from my vision, I see Pete still in the chair, only now he's sitting up straight, his gaze glued to the chief scientist's computer screen. I yawn as I rub my eyes. How long was I out? A couple of hours or so. Whoa, really? How long have you been up? He smirks. A couple of hours or so. I only slept a few minutes. Right. He had that long beauty sleep in the minivan, and I hacked the computer's password and skimmed most of its database, which includes loads of company and project files. Of course, Pete the techie. I also read lots of emails this Dr. Sarah Kahn woman exchanged with other lab workers, people from the Magnum Health Organization, and even the government. I sit up straight on the sofa myself. Really? What'd you find out? Anything useful? His smirk grows into a full-fledged smile. Well, let's just say I now know exactly why this laboratory was built in the first place, and I have a pretty good idea why all those dead bodies are lying around there too.